You cannot get any more niche than this.
The purple basil, the coleus.
Yes.
Yes.
I almost want to see more garden centers doing things like this, more niche things, more unexpected things.
And if you told Jenny she could get a porch goose and then buy outfits for it,
Yeah.
Jenny would match her outfit with the porch goose.
Okay. My problem is
Yeah.
I have become too checklist, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
This one, I love the ones where they cut the window at the bottom of the fence for the dogs.
Isn't that so cute?
You can tell by looking that it's a mature garden, it's established. But it's quirky as hell. The
They're
fence.
really fun. Bee cups, not a bra.
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandi is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our Garden Nook.
Hey, before we start the podcast, can I show you something?
Yeah, what's going on?
So I'm super excited. Look at this. Look at this. It's continuing. Look at this.
Going on.
So this is new. Well, sorry, I'm excited. It's not new. This is a fertilizer I used to use back in Quebec.
Fafard.
It's killer. So this was on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know how old it is, but I was using it 30 years ago. It's organic. It's made from chicken manure. I love this one at Urban Gardener. This is for balcony growers, small space.
No
you don't need a
way.
huge amount of fertilizer, but it's literally
Are you serious?
so you can salt bay it.
That's so cool.
and-
Okay.
Brand new into the West.
Yeah.
And I think all the people that came from Quebec and Ontario, when they see this, they're going to be as excited as I am.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I'm looking at it and I feel like when it tells you on the front of the bag, this is for vegetable gardens.
Yep.
It's not like we're trying to make you guess what this is for. Like if you were growing a specific thing, then you know, okay, I need to look for this specific fertilizer. What's that one again?
That one is the all-purpose. So the base fertilizer in it is chicken manure and it's organic.
Oh, you're kidding. We have all of these in store.
All of them. We've got different size flowers. We have the Urban Gardener. We've got the all-purpose. And family-owned business. They focused on the East Coast where they were from, and now they're finally expanding, and I genuinely couldn't be happier.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, I'm going to go take a look downstairs in the greenhouse then and grab some fertilizer.
When you garden this, yeah, you got a new fertilizer.
Yeah, okay, Fafard.
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 Oh, I like it. I need to show you a video.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to watch the video.
Okay. This is a goth garden day.
Oh, I see what. Okay.
You cannot get any more niche than this.
The purple basil, the coleus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So here's some context here. So this is by an Instagram account called The Goth Garden, which I adore.
It's very
this
aptly named.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And basically they just do dark plants in their garden.
Okay.
And I love that. So May 6th was our first goth garden day at Ramsey Creek and White House El Monte. They invited everybody out. They said, huge thank you to our fabulous garden centers, giveaway donors, and every single person that came to check it out. So essentially it was like a small pop-up event where if you wanted to incorporate more darker florals in your garden, then that's all you're going to get there. And this entire Instagram account is dedicated to those dark florals. So like you'll see things like everything you can think of from indoor to outdoor.
Yep.
And I love that.
All probably like black pansies and the purple basil
Yeah.
and that deep burgundy and red begonia.
Exactly. Like, you know, in the springtime, you see, you know, oh, there's a spring market coming on.
Yeah.
And there's all of these different, you know, the mainstream things, right? I mean, obviously, if you're an event promoter, you want the most people that you can capture,
100%.
like the
Yep.
Lilac Festival,
Yep.
right? The Lilac Festival, even if there's no lilacs, you're capturing a lot of people. And
Shout out to Brad.
Shout out to Brad. But I almost want to see more garden centers doing things like this, more niche things, more unexpected things.
And how many we've been saying since day one of the podcast, the reason why we do what we do. Gardening is for everyone.
It is.
Everyone.
And
It's-
also think outside the box.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be like, I feel like through social media, it's been a little bit of both. You have, here is a checklist of all the things you need in your garden. You need the patio lights, and you
Right.
need the annual planter in the corner, and you need the hanging basket outside your front door. Like, it almost becomes like a checklist.
Yeah.
However, there's also really cool Instagram accounts like The Goth Garden that shows you how to think outside the box.
Yep. Love it.
So I thought today we could talk about some unorthodox garden accessories and what we think of them. And maybe start the ball rolling, because you can totally head to Pinterest and start looking up some unusual things that you can be putting in your garden, right? So the first one I want to talk about is garden windows. Now, I'm not talking about the window on your house. I am talking about incorporating an actual frame in somewhere on your garden.
Yep.
And sort of the reason why is they become architectural focal points. So you can break up the monotony on long fences or bare walls. Or I actually saw in Mackenzie Town, somebody hung a window outside their front door. And it was sort of like, how you have sort of a front, what do you call that? Wraparound.
Oh, like a stoop, like a porch?
Yeah, a porch, exactly. And they had this sort of open space in between the front door and the gate. And they just hung a window there, and it just looked so whimsical and lovely.
I've seen the ones. I love the ones where they cut the window into a fence, but I love the ones where they cut the window at the bottom of the fence for the dogs.
Isn't that so cute? Stuff like that you just you need the inspiration to do, right? So yeah, you can draw the eye to a curated vignette. So if you have like a specific shrub or a hidden seating area.
You know what? I saw that actually on Instagram.
Did you?
Didn't think about it, and I probably wouldn't have if you hadn't said that.
Yeah.
And somebody did a small window. They built it themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 2 foot by a foot, maybe. And they put it in their garden. It doesn't look like anything. It just looks like an ornament.
Yeah.
But when you look through it, you get a specific linear view of what, and it was a flowering shrub. I genuinely don't remember what it was. When you look on either side, you see more, but when you look through the window, that's all you see. And the window was ornate. And I was like, what a great, it's like a curated vignette in your garden.
Yeah. It draws your eye to look and see what's inside. Along the same lines, mirrors.
Okay.
So I've seen mirrors, not as common as windows, but I have seen some mirrors.
Haven't seen that.
So you can kind of, same thing. You can pop them up on fences.
Okay.
Pop them up on the side of your house. It's not for staring at your cute garden outfit. But they are actually, you could do that too if you want to. But they can actually offer an opportunity to bounce light into dark corners. So you can brighten up a corner. But they also visually double the size of the space. So for example, if you had them on a fence, it might look like the garden is bigger than it is. If you had it in a corner, it might lighten up like a very, very dark corner that you have. Maybe it's under a tree.
Yep.
And you can have a little bit of light bouncing into the corner. That might be fun. The only thing I thought about for that is that you really have to mind the wildlife, because it's like, can you imagine a bird?
That's exactly what I was thinking I was thinking 2 things. How dirty they would get, just rainwater and everything hitting them.
Oh, I didn't think about
So you'd
that.
have to clean them. I mean, you could spray them with a hose, maybe. I don't know. But birds.
Birds. Yeah. Wouldn't you also run the risk, maybe, depending on where you put them, of the light bouncing off and then burning a hole in a leaf? No. Is that a thing?
It is, but that's magnifying glasses.
Oh, different glass.
Yeah. So the intensity of the light coming off a mirror depends on the size of the mirror. So if it's tiny pinprick, heavily focused, maybe. Yeah. But I'm sure they're talking about like bathroom mirrors or full frame or whatever, like large mirrors, in which case you just get reflected light.
Okay.
That part I actually really like. Like maybe you do have a shadier backyard and you're like, well, I want to grow tomatoes. What a great hack.
Maybe you just try that. Next one, and I wish I'd brought them up because they're really fun. Bee cups. Not a bra.
The spicy gardeners.
Like not an A cup or C cup. It has to be B.
Yeah.
No, these are for bees. So you know how sometimes we talk about how we find like a bee in the garden and they look tired and they need some sugar water? Get a bee cup.
Jenny started making her own.
She makes them?
Puts them together. So
hobby.
Like everybody, we've gone to numerous beaches and we collect shells. Mm-hmm. And then you come home and you're like, Cool.
What do I do with the shell?
Well, Jenny started taking some of her bigger half shells and putting smaller shells. And then when she waters the garden, she fills them all with water. So
Has she actually seen a pollinator in them?
That I don't know. I'd have to ask her. But they're sitting, one of them is sitting nestled in the creeping thyme.
That's fun.
Another one is right next to it. We've got a little bed. It's full of foxglove and poppy and salvia and whatnot. So it's filled with pollinators. And she has one sitting right there. So when they're visiting the flowers, they can stop and get a drink.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
I have old shells in my house too.
Everybody I know does. Because everybody here goes to visit BC.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh my God, this shell's amazing. Which absolutely we should do. It's such a fun activity. I've got a rock in my office from it. I found a rock, yay big, in New York. So I brought it from New York back to Montreal and then flew it to Calgary because it was a cool rock.
Do you know what? In your defense, it is a pretty cool rock.
Yeah.
So, So basically, so that is essentially like the purpose of them is to fill them with water, and then the bees or pollinators will drop by and take a drink.
Which technically you could use a bra for.
Sure.
Well, you said it's not about bras, but I'm like, if you hung a bra.
I feel like the neighbors might have something to say about that. I'd be like, you have undergarments. That is, yeah, you know what though? That would be an unorthodox garden accessory.
Exactly.
I don't hate it. Here's another one. And I'm wondering in your years of landscaping, if you've ever seen this or if this is like so out there, dangling tree sun catchers.
I've seen sun catches. I don't know.
They're not super mainstream. So I've never seen one in IRL, but I have seen them on the internet. So essentially it's in a shady area under mature trees. You'll have almost looks like tree jewelry. Is
it kind of a similar pattern to rain chains?
Kind of, yeah. But they're not large.
Oh,
they're
okay.
small, and you would just attach them to your tree, and they would look really nice on things like if you had like a weeping tree, and you could have them in amongst the leaves. Or
so when the sun hits it, you get like a
exactly.
No, I haven't. That's
exactly.
No.
So I almost imagine that would be prettier than doing a bird avoidance.
Yeah.
Thing. So that's something that you can also look up. And then the last one, and this is actually something that I saw in my neighborhood the other day, porch goose. And we have a porch, we have a garden duck here. Yeah. But this is tiny. The porch geese that I have seen are huge. They're like 3-4 feet tall. And not only that.
Are you sure it wasn't a real goose on somebody's porch?
You know what's interesting though? They have become such a trend. So you can get porch geese and porch ducks.
Okay.
And they've become such a trend that they make clothes for them. And you can decorate them for the holidays.
I am so not trendy.
I want one.
I am. So I'm not the garden decor guy. That is Jenny.
Yeah.
Like we do have ducks, little duck statues. Mm. We have ravens.
Yeah.
We got, I think, a rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have a porch goose.
Maybe I know what to get you for your birthday.
We're definitely lacking in the porch. And if you told Jenny she could get a porch goose and then buy outfits for it.
Yeah.
Jenny would match her outfit with the porch goose.
Okay, so that's how I win over your yard. I go through Jenny and not you.
Yeah, I'm function, not form. Jenny is definitely form, not function. So It's a perfect hybrid.
It is exactly. Yeah. And honestly, if you're looking for a way to spice up your garden and maybe break the mold a little bit on the the mainstream checklist type of a garden and just start to think about other ways to really personalize it. These are just 5 options for you, but you can also, like we said at the beginning, you can personalize it through the plants that you choose. Yep. I mean, we've talked in the past of making things like a moonlight garden, or just get really specific about maybe the types of plants that you want to include.
The
hate garden.
That's still always stuck with me. That's in here.
You could even, I was even thinking if you wanted to go along the lines of, say, like a horoscope garden, and you found plants with varieties that had like the horoscope names, or you could do all plants that start with B.
Yep.
You could do like rock gardens. Yep. So these are only varieties that can live in drought tolerant areas or whatever like that.
I love like one of my favorite things is when you see somebody's garden, and you can tell by looking that it's a mature garden, it's established, but it's quirky as hell. The fence is all different color wood or different. One panel the wood is horizontal, the next one is vertical, the next one is trellis, and you're like, oh, okay, and it's a mishmash of everything. And I know that's not everybody's taste. I absolutely get that. But when I see that, I think about the decades of love and quirkiness and why they picked that and what it meant to them, because it personalizes the garden.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, arguably, it gives you things to learn about. Yep. Right? Because it's not mainstream. It's not like, you're doing gardening exactly the way that your parents did it, right? Yep. You're like, for example, the goth garden. I imagine this started out as just pure hobby, like, hey, I like this kind of plant. But now you have this amazing following and this great community that, is also learning alongside you. And you're taking the time to learn about different kinds of plants.
I never was in the goth scene, but I had friends who were goths, right? Like they like the music and the black clothing and all of that. It was never gardening. Mm-hmm. Gardening wasn't for them.
Yeah.
But this now bridges that gap. And it's like, hey, you can have that black theme, that moody theme, whatever it is you're looking for. Because a lot of times when we think of gardens, you kind of go to a few places like cottage, hippie, like that, there's kind of niches out there that lend themselves more to that flower power, that garden style. Goth, heavy metal. You don't really you don't see somebody listening to Slayer out in their garden.
Maybe.
Well, we used to do it when we were landscaping, James
exactly.
and I. Yeah.
Somebody must be doing it.
Yeah.
And I almost kind of want to put out a call, because if you have an Instagram channel that you absolutely love and they're doing something niche gardening, and say you're a garden center and you want to find a way to do something outside the box, connect with the community, like, we need to put out a call and say, get together.
Yep.
And make more events like this one that we saw on the Goth Garden. Actually, worked with a garden center to curate a collection of plants and bring two communities together. And it looked like a really fun time.
I got the aha moment.
And probably ideas flowing through your brain being like, how can we do something like that here?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's really cool. Actually, you know what? If you have an Instagram channel that is gardening that you really love, drop it down in the comment below.
Or if you're running one. If it's your own feed.
Let us know. We would love to know and think more outside the box and share some of those ideas over on our Instagram. So let us know. If you had like a niche interest in your garden, what would it be?
I've never been asked that.
Yeah.
So I
do you find that in your garden, you really follow the checklist? I mean, you don't really, I feel like you're very I just do what I want.
Yeah. I try new things. I experiment.
Maybe you're the experimental garden.
Yeah. Like I don't care what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get on board with porch geese, even though I want to. That's why I need you in my life.
And I think that's my problem is I have become too checklist, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
There's nothing wrong with that either, though.
And I think it's especially hard when you are, you've just recently bought a house and you're you've had all these dreams.
Do you know how many times, and this isn't hyperbole here, how many times when I was landscaping, people would change the style of their garden because of certain trends? For an example, pavers, okay?
Yeah.
So you go back to the 70s, and then you look at the 80s, and then you look at the 90s. The types of pavers people were using to do driveways and patios has changed radically.
Yeah, true enough.
Okay, and people would literally rip out patios and put in new ones because 90-degree and square angle slabs weren't trendy.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now, if you go to a paving site, I'm working with one currently to bring pavers to the home market. Those 90-degree slabs, they are back in style in a big way. Those more natural rustic cobblestone are falling off in a big way. I've always liked the cobblestone in England and that whole.
Sure, yeah.
That's my appeal. But when you look at the trend, that's what we're seeing. So absolutely go with trends. Go with what feels right. Be experimental. Find your niche. There's no right. Gardening is not one size fits all.
I always thought it would be so cool to create like a reader's garden, find varieties out of storybooks or have a corner and be where the wild things are, or, or like a children's garden, and you have like a garden represented by favorite children's books or something like that. That would be really cool. Hey, let us know down below what you think. Do you follow any garden niches that are just like your own, that are kind of against the grain? We'd love to know.
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the Helpful Gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!
Hosting the Helpful Gardeners has been extremely helpful in my gardening journey, but I have a secret weapon that I really want to show you today, and that is the Yard Smart program, developed in partnership between the City of Calgary and the Calgary Horticultural Society. It's so great. I wish more cities across the country had something like this, because they have free online guides for different garden types. So a sun-loving garden, or a perennial garden, or a trees and shrubs garden, or a pollinator-friendly garden. And I love their free videos over on their website, and they cover different topics like gardening on a budget, or starting a garden bed from scratch, which, if you've been following the podcast this year, that has been my main garden goal. You have to go online and check it out. Head to calgary.ca/yardsmart, or you can head in-store to Golden Acre Home and Garden here in Calgary, Alberta, and pick up your free copies of their guides today. Happy planting!